Hello, everybody, and welcome to our exciting negotiation practice community event. And we are excited to see you at, um, at this event where we will unfold the the elite performance mental strategy. So that our event is called Unlock Your Winning Negotiation Performance Through Elite Mental Strategy. And it's so lovely to have you here this afternoon. And it will be exciting conversation for all of us. And this call will be recorded and also screencasted to LinkedIn, and you can ask your questions. Please put them in the chat if you are participating through the LinkedIn. If you would like to join our Zoom call, go to the link below the event in the chat and click that link, and you can join the Zoom call and ask your questions. So it will be open. I will be looking who is joining, so you can join anytime. And please, if you join the Zoom call, stay muted. And if you're asking a question, don't forget to unmute yourself and ask your question. And you can use the raise hand, and you can use chat to ask your questions. And today I have a special guest, and I'm very excited to talk to Raj Gavurla. And Raj is an elite mental performance master expert who speaks professionally. And he's a performance coach and an author. And Raj has master's degree in human resource development with an emphasis in human and organization performance. And he's a senior certified professional at the Society of Human Resource Management. Raj is also a master host at Negotiation Practice Community, and he's an author of Winning at Entrepreneurship, Common Sense Strategies for Business Owners, and 5 workbooks called You Raise the Bar Primer, Mental Performance Tools. They are to help you consistently perform in business, education, and sports. Raj is also a competitive soccer, basketball, and tennis player, and you can visit www.rajgavurla.com to benefit and buy his books and workbooks. And I will put this URL in the chat so you can have that and in the chat of Zoom, and also I will send it to you in the comments in our comments in our LinkedIn community as well. So Raj, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on this call today, and I have many questions to you.
Thank you, Vlad. I want to remind people that this is being screencast on LinkedIn. However, join the Zoom call so that you can ask questions towards the end. So I'm really excited about being here, Vlad. I appreciate it. I know we have about an hour. And so let's go ahead and start. How would you like to begin?
Sure, yeah. Well, first of all, in order to kind of set the stages and get on the same page, I would like to ask you, like in general, what mental performance is and why is it important?
Okay, well, the reason mental performance is important, and especially in negotiations, is because I don't teach what, for example, Chris Voss teaches, never split the difference. Okay, it's important to know that so you have the negotiation skills. I don't teach what, for example, Jim Camp teaches, start with no. And I don't teach crucial conversations, and there's some other type of skill building type of negotiation tools, skills, strategies that one can use. However, what I know is, and what I do is, and I've participated and trained and coached in those areas. And so obviously I am skilled in those areas. However, where my expertise is that, okay, you're implementing those, you're using those. How are your negotiations going? How come you're not receiving greater negotiation deals, better deals? How come the negotiation didn't continue? What's causing that? Why is that occurring? So I want to take away those mental barriers. So what I really do is I help performers and achievers like you stop sabotaging themselves through elite mental strategies. So, what did you notice here today? I did a couple of things just to point it out to you all. And that is one is I checked with Vlad how he wanted to begin. See, I'm focused on the other person. I also talked about time, and we'll get into this so we know we have an hour. And the reason I talked about time is so that I can get time out of the way. Because when our mind is engaged with how much time do we have, while we're in the moment, the present moment, then we're not using all of our resources, our neural circuits, all the circuits in our body, whole body, effectively and efficiently. So that's another thing that's very important. And so the other item is that I am making this relevant and relatable to you. So those people on the call, those people who are on the LinkedIn cast, and those people who will be viewing this later, if this isn't relevant and relatable to you, then you wouldn't be on the call, right? And so a lot of times what we do is we try to make things and have a conversation or a discussion or talk with someone about things that aren't relevant and relatable to them. And so that is very important. And then the key point or tip to remember that it's your process over outcome. And we'll delve more into that and why that is. However, for this specific call and what I do in negotiation practice community is that there are 10 elite mental performance strategies. And those strategies you eventually you learn the knowledge, then you make it into a skill. And what makes it a strategy is that you're able to tap that skill at the right time and you use it as a strategy. And so they are for 10, there are elite mindset, motivation and commitment, focus and awareness, self control and discipline, process over outcome, mental imagery and meditation, routines and habits of excellence, time management and organizations. Sometimes time management can also be put in with energy management, leadership, and then the right culture and environment. However, today we're not talking about any of those. We're going to focus on where my specialization is. So this is a premium offer, or what I do as far as my private, personal, professional, confidential programs and services. And that we're going to talk about you're the zone and you're the zone effect. And some of you may be familiar with that and may not be familiar with that. So those are the reasons why elite performance coaching, training, and teaching, I do those so that I can help those individuals who are experiencing maybe mental barriers or a block or something that's keeping them, that's causing them to back away from a negotiation, not be confident or comfortable or consistent in their negotiations, and not be really in the present moment. Either they're in the past or they're way into the future. And guess what? Process over outcome means outcome is the future. We can't really control the future. Okay. And then the past is really emotions. So we'll talk about the importance of controlling your emotions and feelings also.
Yeah, it's thank you, Raj. It's a really good start here, and controlling emotions um, is all in negotiation. We know that scientifically proven now that we making decisions emotionally, and the 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 way we make decision and the way we decide and your process in your mind, it depends on the state you are in. And I remember from my the school years that when I played ping pong in the first part of the game, I could win pretty easily and I could, you know, execute really well. But when I start winning, I get hooked and I get emotional about this. And then I would start losing. I would start consistently losing, one after another, and then I would lose the game. So something happened within me, and I couldn't really hold my emotional state long enough to win. And I recognized that as my weakness, but I didn't know what to do with that. I didn't know how to manage that. I didn't know how to um, uh, overcome that. And that's all about getting you finding your edge by controlling your own emotions, and maybe in negotiation, even controlling emotions on the other side as well. So, my question to you: what does it take to master it? What is the process? What are the steps, or maybe what are the practices that people need to follow in order to master it and then gain control and get that edge of performance?
Well, and that's very important because without recognizing and being aware of your own emotions and another person's emotions, the people you will be negotiating with first, then it's hard to get past that because that's the big barrier that comes, right? That's the first big barrier in the negotiation. When I say a winning negotiation performance, that means that you, because you're attending events like this, you're in negotiation practice community, you're also taking maybe Chris Voss's training or coaching or a class, or you read their books, Jim Camp, Start with No, all of that. So that's very important. And so the key is to keep in mind that negotiating a winning performance or winning negotiation performance is because you have these tools now. You have this knowledge. You have now that knowledge has become skill. Now, once the skill is there, then you sort of know it and it's in your muscle memory. So you don't need to recall it. You can recall it almost automatically. And then it becomes a strategy when you actually implement it. So you know when to use a screwdriver versus a Phillips head, when to use a hammer versus some other tool, and know what order to do it in and how to flow that. And that's when it becomes the strategy. So it's very, very important for you to know that emotion really is like most things, okay? There's a very positive emotion, right? The good emotion. And then there's the very negative emotion, the kind that you just want to stay away from this person, right? That type. I mean, that's the worst kind. So what emotion is really emotion is a record of the past, your emotions or another person's emotions. So when you first, let's say, for example, prepare, right? We mentally prepare, right? Before you attend the negotiation, you should mentally prepare. So one of the elite mental skills or cues to implement then is your cue or your prompt. Do you know your cue or your prompt? So what is your cue or your prompt? So what we'll do right now is that I will implement a cue, or you can call it your prompt right now, and that is a breathing exercise. Because what that does is you are recognizing and aware you're breathing. So now you know what's coming up next is very important. So that is your cue and your prompt. So what we'll do is we will inhale for 6 seconds, hold for 2, and exhale for 8. Okay? So everybody get your feet grounded, feel the ground. This is another grounding exercise. Okay? Your straight spine is an alert mind. And then now breathe in for 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold for 2. Exhale for 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in for 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold for 2. Exhale for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now here's a bonus breath. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold for 2. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now you're in more of a present moment focus. And since everyone can most likely, this is relevant and relatable to them, think of a time when thank you, Gerard. Yes, cortisol level, you're right. Cortisol is stress, is down when you do that. So you're activating your autonomic nervous system, and that's what breathing is for. And so think of when you're driving and you're driving a car and you're going from one location to the other. You're driving home and you get home, and you've probably experienced this, most people have. You don't really remember taking a right turn, taking a left, passing the grocery store. However, you are at home. You are very safe, although you don't recall all the minute details. So, what was happening there? And I do this exercise often, and those that want to, you can put in the chat what do you experience when that occurs? How would you describe it? And you're welcome to put that in chat. It's private, personal, professional, confidential, so you can just send it to me and not to everybody else. And while you're thinking of that, I will go ahead and tell you what a lot of people say. Some people say that they're sort of scared, or that 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 they're in their driveway and they like, oh, I'm glad I'm safe. And actually, you're the most safest you could ever be. Some people say that it's peaceful. They describe it as peaceful. Some people describe it as like effortless. Some people describe it as, well, I don't think about time. Like I need to get somewhere by this time. I got 20 minutes. Oh gosh, I'm going to be late for my meeting. And then some people say, well, I don't think about distance, time dilation, distance dilation. And it's like, oh, uh, I got 10 more miles to go. Oh, now I have 2 more miles. And see, what this is doing is when we do something like that, and when we are in, you experience what is called the zone. You're the zone. And some people call it flow. And why you're experiencing this is because you driving a car has become so automatic to you. And therefore, you are using your resources, your neural circuits, your body circuits throughout your whole body in the most effective and efficient way. You've optimized it. So if I asked you and I gave you 10 things in a box, okay, and said, okay, open the box and then write your name on this piece of paper I have over here. Well, most likely you're going to open the box and you're going to go through and you're going to look for a pen or pencil or something to write with, right? However, that's what you're doing in your mind when you're not in the zone, is you have all of those circuits firing and you're trying to figure out where is the pen or pencil to grab so that you can sign your name. However, what I realized is when you're in the zone, you immediately don't have all those items in the box. You only have the pen or pencil. And you grab it immediately and you sign the name. Now, see how much faster that occurs, right? When you open the box and there's the pen, you just open it instead of having to shift through all of those other activated circuits, which are, irrelevant and not relatable to what it is you need in order to sign your name on this piece of paper. And so that's what's happening with you in your mind. And so what is that? It's called, the concept is it's called hypototal frontality. So in other words, it means that you are deactivating all of the neural circuits as well as circuits in your body and only using the ones that you need. Okay. And what that does is that it makes the highways in your mind much more effective and efficient. It makes you look like you can empathize, right? Tactical empathy, is a very important skill. And so the first thing we need to do is we need to understand what are the tools, what's the knowledge, and what are the skills to control our own emotions. Because as we learn those skills and tools, and we're able to use that strategy, then we can help our counterpart control their emotions and we can gather information. It's not how much you know about each other. Sure, you need to connect with each other. Sure, you need to build trust and a relationship vision, right? And then after that, will open up to you more. However, I know that Vlad does that with relationship coaching. So that would be something that you could go to Vlad with. I'm after you're meeting the individuals, or I'm there when you're thinking, oh, am I going to go to Vlad's training or coaching or teaching? I'm a little afraid of building. What does that mean? And so then you would come to me because you have a performance barrier, something that can benefit you for whatever reason is frightening you, is activating your stress response, your fight, flight, freeze, hide response, right? And that's the bad side of your nervous system. And it's there for a reason because for the longest time when we came through, we had to avoid animals and being attacked. So we needed high energy quick, and that's called the uh, the other nervous system, a sympathetic nervous system. And so what we don't want to do is we don't want to activate that. And so the way that we do it is we control our own emotions first, right? And so the first thing we do is let's say we're thinking of a scenario. So think right now of a scenario that you're negotiating, right? That you will be negotiating because we don't want to talk about emotions because emotions are just all energy from the past and we're in the here and now. Okay. And we don't want to talk about the future because a lot of people, that's one of the barriers. They have expectations. And when those expectations don't get met in the negotiation, they get mad, they get frustrated, they become negative. So now their emotions are taking over because it's activating a past experience because they probably somebody has done that to them before. And so now they have to battle through that. And so the way that we do this, okay, is first of all, we become aware and recognize where are our eyes. And when we look and have that awareness, that inner awareness, will, are your eyes darting around? Okay. Are they calm? Are they peaceful? And do they present themselves that way? If somebody were to be in front of you, okay? Or are they darting around or they look like you're thinking about something? Okay. So first we want to be aware and recognize where are our eyes? Okay. Secondly, we want to look at our facial expression and our body language. Do we look calm? Does our facial expression look like it's non-judgmental, calm, neutral, to where someone could trust you with some sensitive information? Because really, that's what differentiates you. Your competitors probably have something similar to you, but it's the relationship and your ability to uncover what Chris Voss calls the black swan, find some information or something that they're willing to share with you now because they have increased their trust with you, the relationship vision that you two could have together. Okay, so we're going to look at our own facial expressions, our body language. We're going to look at our breathing. Are we breathing heavy? Okay, are we breathing shallow? Are we breathing fast? So is everything peaceful and calm? And when you're around someone who's peaceful and calm, it affects you. It does. You feel like you're in a safe place, right? That this person has something that uh, some aura about them. And then you sense that. And so now with the other negotiation tools, you can look and see how to dwell forward, like by labeling emotions, things like that, which, if you know the N9 with Chris Voss, then that comes to play. However, what is very important is that your demeanor, your body language, your conduct, your emotions are now in the control. And so you're in the present moment focus. And that is a calm, peaceful, right? Your eyes, you're completely in the present moment. Your facial expressions, your body language, your breathing, right? And now you go, and guess what? You go to this person now who knows nothing about this, who has not learned negotiation skills, it doesn't have elite performance coaching, training, and teaching. And so, therefore, you're not there to make it worse for them. You're there to help them uncover and get them into their right place to negotiate. And so you're actually creating this winning performance together. And that's where I call that you're the zone effect, because now you are there with one person, two people, or a group of people. Or it could be that this negotiation occurs over a month, 3 months, a year, maybe, right? There's iterations. And so now what you do is you go and you see the other person and you look and see, did they make eye contact? Are their eyes darting? If they look like something's bothering them, you could say, it seems like something's bothering you, and label that emotion, their eye contact. Then all of a sudden, they focus back on you. Or they may tell you, yes, something is bothering me. And now you can go into that conversation and uncover what that is, because it may be relevant and relatable to what it is that you all are negotiating about. You're also looking at their body language. You're looking at their facial expressions. You're looking at their breathing. Are they breathing heavy or not? And by labeling all of these and going through that, okay, you're now putting them in a better place so that your negotiation with each other becomes a winning performance, because now they're more receptive of you. They're more trusting of you. They're more willing to give you information, and you can gather information to benefit them, right? So in negotiation, the reason an agreement occurs is it's beneficial. There is some kind of data, okay, or evidence or proof or something there. And then thirdly, are you talking to the people that can authorize it? And a lot of times we don't get to the person who can authorize it until we go through some other people, and that's okay. However, eventually we need to find out who it is that will authorize it. And then the actual outcome is to make an agreement. Now you don't know what that agreement will be. That's the reason for the negotiation. And therefore, the agreement could be much greater. And that's the whole purpose of this Zoom call today, is that, why aren't your negotiations, winning negotiation performance? Why aren't they greater? Or, well, we were in negotiations, then, and then, are you pushing too hard? Or we get into when I coach training, performance coaching, training, and teaching, and a much better place. And a negotiation can, you need to do that yourself. And then when you meet the person or more than one person, then the same thing occurs. It also shows that you're connecting with them on a human to human level. And then here is something to keep in mind forever, 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 forever. And it's challenging. I know it is. Okay. I know it is. However, it is essential. And that is, in negotiating, you never are frustrated. You never get frustrated. You never are anxious. You never are nervous. You never, ever get mad. You never ever get angry. Okay. These are all, if you keep anything in mind in this whole session, you implement this. Okay. And you will see everything in your life, regardless of what it is, okay, go to that next level and beyond in performance, in any kind of process you have, and in the outcomes and agreements you have, and in the relationships you have. Now, is it challenging? Yes, right? However, that's the reason you're there. That's why you're taking this coaching, this training, and I'm teaching this skill, because as you're able to do this, then you can see and you can use tactical empathy and say, yeah, that would, so now you uncover some information and gather information about that emotion. Okay. Because, yeah, sure, naturally people are going to use emotion, especially when they don't have this coaching, this training, and these skills in their and strategies, right? And so this is why controlling emotions is so, so very important.
Yeah, it's a very good point, and make a little bit of a stop here, Raj. Thank you very much. You gave us a lot, and it sounds like that there are certain things to digest here. Now, I wanted to kind of make a summary here. Maybe you could go over biggest points and just list list those steps and list those points that where we need to pay attention to. And I realized that it could be a lot because negotiation is a complex human performance skill. You need to take care of so many things. What I gathered, you probably need to pay attention to how you are performing, what your emotions are, what is your breathing, where is your eyes? Are you relaxed? What are your facial expressions? What is your body posture? What are your gestures? And then once you get that in awareness, you actually look at the other side and look at them, what they look like, what their um, facial expressions, what their posture, and kind of get a sense of where you are and if they are with you and where they are emotionally. And could you kind of complete this picture and kind of just summarize what different aspects of that you need to pay attention to? What are the most important to get that mindset and the habit of being aware of different things? What does it take um, to just go to the like next level, maybe in the next conversation? What would you recommend people to start pay attention to?
Yeah, that's a very good summary, Vlad. And so the key point to keep in mind was the one that I said about you never get frustrated, you never get mad or angry, you're never nervous or you're never anxious. So you're coming from a better place. And so the idea of being in control of your own emotion, now when you are, then you're not thinking of any past experience because that's what emotion energy is. So you're in the present moment. Now, your job or your service is to now implement that and to recognize and be aware of their emotions and be able to get them out of their past energy, okay, into the present moment, which is about this negotiation, about what's relevant and relatable here. And they may flop back and forth because it's natural tendency because that's how we communicate, right? When you watch a movie or we watch a movie, professional actors, they do that. So you will sense an emotion, a feeling. However, in negotiations, we want to take all of that away from them so that they can get to the real ripe stuff. We want to they do that in acting and in movie making because they want to create some kind of challenge, some kind of, something that we overcome, and then they create the solution. Well, this is what we're doing. However, we're doing it over time. And I know someone in the chat said, well, it takes a lot of repetitions. And you're right, it does. However, here's the big barrier is people do not realize that they can use these every day because every interaction you have is a negotiation. It really is, whether it's with your spouse, with your children, with other people going to the grocery store, it really is. And so you can use these in like a safe place. However, yes, once you start to negotiate like in a business sense, then it's a little different. And of course, the bigger or the larger the deal could be, then obviously, again, that's another barrier. Some people's barrier emotionally is that they get emotional about money. So in other words, they're not comfortable. They have an emotion about talking about money. It's difficult for them to talk about it. And I don't say that we talk about money, but we talk about financial structuring, okay, or the financial terms and how to structure the deal. So we're not really talking about money. We're not really talking about financial yet. We are eventually we will get there, but first we need to create the value and have the agreement on those kind of items. So that's very important. So that is the key in addition to your summary on why controlling emotions and putting ourselves in a better place and then helping in the negotiation to put the other person in a better place. And now we are there to go and the conversation continues. However, if one or the other gets mad, gets frustrated, gets angry, whatever it may be, nervous, anxious, then all of a sudden there's a big detour and it could just stop everything. And that's when you know that you're not so sure you do business with someone who's not skilled enough to be able to present themselves in a professional manner, peacefully and with civility, which is respect and manners when they're communicating. Because if it's like that in the negotiation, could you imagine what it'd be like if you were in agreement, made a deal, and then now you're executing this deal and something maybe challenging comes up? It's going to be a nightmare. You're not going to like it. So that in itself is a pretty important, right? You're not only looking at the person, you're also looking at the organization, the business, whatever the purpose is, and then you're looking at the other people that are affected by it.
Yeah. It's pretty important, and I realized that how important that the negotiation. I have an example. I recently participated in the competition, and the competition is negotiation competition is special because you can get the feedback from people you negotiate with. In real life, they will never tell you like what affected them. They will never tell you how you scored, but in negotiation competition, you can actually ask after competition, "Hey, how did you feel?" So in the negotiation, uh, I get this feedback. Someone said to me, you asked me about how I feel, and you asked me about if I'm nervous, and that really created a special connection with you. So when you create that environment, when you are comfortable and you make the other side comfortable, it instantly creates that flow when you start collaborating. It's crucial, and mastering this and getting highest performance you can at that, it's probably affecting 90% of your results. Uh, you may forget to ask a good question. You may forget to offer something. But the thing is, if you create that emotional connection and you create the state where you collaborate together, the other side would actually help you to realize the challenge that you're not seeing. Maybe they will answer the question that you didn't ask. Maybe will ask you about your offer that you forgot to say, and in creating that flow and creating that zone and the zone effect is maybe more important than any other negotiation techniques when you ask, how am I supposed to do that? I mean, yes, this is a good technique, but the people who only lean on techniques, they raise skinny kids. You need to be more strategic about that. You need to create a path for people to collaborate rather than just, throwing techniques around. And I have one more question, right? But before that, I wanted to remind everybody that this is a negotiation practice community event, and if you're watching this on LinkedIn and not a member of Negotiating Practice community, feel free to join us. And I will put the link to join us in the chat so you can do that. And also, you can go to Raj's sessions, practice sessions, where you can actually learn how to control your emotions and how to control the emotions in the negotiation, in your conversations. And you can do it every Wednesday, and Raj will be happy to help you with that. And once you join the community, it's free, so you can join every week and get insights from Raj directly. And if you know someone who needs that, if you know someone who really wants to improve their emotional state and create great relationship with others, improve their position at work, maybe find new business, anything, this is crucial. So you can bring them in with you. So connect with me, connect with Raj. After the call, you have our coordinates and our contacts in LinkedIn, and ask us questions, ask us to how to proceed, what to do in this difficult situation. And the last question I want to ask you, Raj, is first of all, I really appreciate all the insights, and we're kind of short on time here. Maybe you can get some questions from the audience. I wanted to ask you a last question. If someone wants to learn more about this, and somebody wants to improve their performance and master this mental game, what do you think, what steps this person should take? What would you recommend to do as a coach of that?
Well, as a coach of that, obviously, it's like anything. If you want to become skilled in something, you want to be able to use it as a strategy and you want to have knowledge with it, then you need to learn from someone who's an expert in that. And so that's why people hire me, businesses, corporations, conferences, conventions. I do keynotes. I also do workshops. And then I also do individual coaching and team coaching. And also, towards the end of this, there is a bonus. I think Vlad already put it in there that I am actually, you can click on the link there and you receive, I don't know how many days or months of negotiation practice community access. And you can come in there and attend all the different sessions. However, my session is on Wednesday mornings at 9:30. And that is where we can work on your negotiation specific skills, strategies, your specific negotiations that are real live negotiations, real life negotiations. And it doesn't matter as far as you have access to that once you're a member of the community. Now you can also go to my website, obviously, if you're a business owner, you're an entrepreneur, you're an executive, or you're someone in management, and you can look and see, how can this benefit your business, your company, right? Your convention or your conference, your attendees who will be attending those. So you can go to rajgavurla.com and fill out the brief form, and we will contact you as soon as we can. Also, you can go to Buzzsprout and it's my podcast. And every day I have a Performers and Achievers Daily podcast. So that's another way for you to learn more about this and maybe get more knowledge and create value for yourself so that you know, okay, this is something that I want to invest in because this will take me to the next level and beyond. And that's what business is, right? Business is about strategically investing in areas so that you can receive benefits, uh, outcomes that are much greater. And someone in the chat asked, what is the reason for a negotiation? Well, a negotiation occurs sometimes with ourselves. We negotiate. Yes, we do, right? We have to sometimes negotiate with ourselves before we can even, that's controlling emotions, our own emotions, before we can even go and do something and be effective and receive the maximum benefits from it. However, the reason for a negotiation when we include another person, which I'm calling the zone effect or you're the zone effect, is that it's quite this much clarity. With two or more people independent, we don't really need each other to create something greater, to benefit greater. However, with two or more people together, we do need each other to create something much greater. Does that mean that each side gets what they want? No. What it does mean that each side is now aware and recognizes and has had a conversation, a discussion, dialogue, talked about it. And now we've actually created something that's much greater than each side could have ever done on their own. And they came in wanting this, and it's important, yes, you mentally prepare and have somewhat of an idea. However, there are several times that I've negotiated, and what I keep telling myself in my mind is to stay and discover, curious and discover. So when I'm in the negotiation, I'm curious and discover because what I know is that Vlad or anybody else on this call, not only are we negotiating about what's relevant, relatable right now, well, each person has their network. They have people they can introduce you to, that they can refer you to, right? And so just like today, someone may see this call and say, "Hey, I attended this session that was put on by Negotiation Practice Community by Vlad, and they had this guy by the name of Raj Gavurla there, who's an elite performance coach, training and teaching, and you should look into this. I think it can benefit you."
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's all about finding new opportunities and um, the um, uh, the uh, the way we create is we create with people. So I know that there's another question from Angelica. Angelica, please unmute yourself and ask a question.
Okay, I had to put my face here. I got a question because I do audio rooms, and what I love about the LinkedIn audio rooms is that's where people can get to see how you relate with others, right? And how you just having those conversations, people could see whether you're cool headed or if you're going to freak out. Well, one of my guests is, and I'm not going to mention any names, but what happens with him is sometimes people come into the audio room and they'll ask a completely different question and it drives him crazy. he he starts sending or they start selling, right, whatever they're selling. And so I usually tell the people, okay, well, we could talk about that at the end of the audio room. But what happens with my friend is you could hear that the anger in the voice, and then he's been kind of short with people, and what you said, Raj, about when you're negotiating and how it messes up the whole negotiation. Well, what I noticed is people just started leaving the room in droves immediately, and I was like, dude, you gotta you got to do something about controlling your emotions because those emotions really show, and you can't you can't build a relationship when people see that. They get turned off and they're like, they're out. They don't want to do business with you. So how can I help him? I He's gotten a lot better, but how can I help him? I can control my emotions. How could I help him? What I've been telling him lately, though, is like when he complains about somebody who's come into the room and it says something. I What I tell him is, it's good that we're being patient with people because then people see that we really want to help them and that we're being empathetic and kind. And then more people want to come that because some people are afraid to come into audio rooms and speak. So when we make them feel welcome, it's really important. So I just want to hear your thoughts on that, because I could always use a little help on what I could do to help my friend out.
Well,
Thank you.
yeah, that's a very good question. And you're actually benefiting and find it a way to use tactical empathy, right? To be able to actually help this person individually, uh, having a conversation with them or even talking to them in the chat individually. Now, I have attended a lot of sessions, and this is what occurs a lot of times, and that is that the person who is hosting the session makes a statement initially saying, hey, this is a safe place. This is a non-judgmental place. And we are here for everyone to experience the maximum benefit of this. So therefore, we want to have civility and we want to, be aware of the guidelines for this group. And that way, everyone benefits and gains the most from the experience we have together. Okay. The experience we have together. This is not a one person, I'm going to get this and you receive this and that's it. No, there's other people on the call. And so a lot of groups that I've attended now, they make that very clear. And they even in their announcements, they'll say, we have great attendees. We love them. We love, that people are participating. And, it's very rare that, we, mute someone or very rare that we may, deny someone access to the community or the platform. Because, if someone's doing that, then they're starting to be uh, disturbing of and not in tune or aligned with what it is that the purpose of this event is, the mission of it is, the vision of the event is. And so that's important. And so I've had some sessions where I join a community, and if you have a coaching call with someone and you don't show up in 10 minutes, well, then you lose that coaching call. And so these are ways to just put back into place what I call professional peacefulness, professional civility, which is respect and manners, right? Now, of course, if something comes up, then we can say, hey, look, and because we live in life, we have a real life, hey, there was an emergency, I need to reschedule. We've all done that. So, that makes sense. However, when we are there with the demeanor to be attendees and to be whatever it is that we're engaged with, right? However, when we're with our family, we have a different demeanor. If we're in playing sports, we have a sportsmanship or a sportswoman demeanor. When we're with our friends and partying, we have a party demeanor, right? So obviously there is a demeanor or certain conduct that is needed in order to gain the most from the event or the meeting or whatever it is that we're engaging in together.
Yeah,
Thank
uh,
you.
yeah, and Angelica, and I wanted to ask, I wanted to add something here. Um, if you want to help your friend, first of all, I love the exercise of breathing. That's one thing that is something that you could help your friend to instantly gain control over the emotions. And I'm sure that his response probably emotional. Probably there is some regret after he's been short with people. And in order to gain that control back, that breathing exercise, just when he starts feeling emotional about this, just do this 6 breaths in, 2 hold, and 8 breathe out. But also ask your friend to come to the negotiation practice community to Raj's session. So he can come and Raj can actually talk to your friend or your colleague or so business partner, so he could find the exact source of that negative emotion or maybe the emotional response and create that mental strategy in order to overcome that. Because the mental strategy could be different, and it depends on what the source of it. So I would really, and this is a 1 month free, so there is no risk here, and your friend would benefit with that greatly. What am I missing the point, Raj? What you can add to that?
Oh no, that was very good. That was valid, and it is something that since he is experiencing this negative emotion, then we know that emotion is just past energy. So something is triggering him, and we don't want triggers and urges. Those are bad things. Okay, so when I coach, train, and teach, I talk about your cue or your prompt. So your cue, for example, today I used the cue of breathing. So we knew that since we're breathing, whatever we're about to do next is important. Okay. And so that is something that, yes, he could definitely benefit from coaching. And he's looks like that he's just someone that, goes by the rules, which is great. However, sometimes, that's the whole purpose of tactical empathy is that everything is not just you do these steps and everybody achieves this. It doesn't work like that or accomplishes this or receives this. And the reason it doesn't, and it's good that it doesn't, because you can achieve much greater. And that was the whole purpose of this event today is to experience winning negotiation performance. And that means that that includes the person or the counterpart that you're negotiating with.
Yeah, absolutely. What I like about your session, Raj, is that every time I come, you always find the simplest form of that cue and the strategy that it is very simple to adopt, and it gives you the maximum performance. I'm grateful that you are part of the negotiation practice community and one of the master hosts there. I invite everybody to join, and the URL is in the chat. This is join.negotiationpracticecommunity.com. Feel free to join. Feel free to go to Raj's session. We have to wrap up. We only have 1 minute to go. And I would like to thank everybody for participation here. Or if you're watching a replay of that, I would like to thank you for your time. Angelica, thank you very much for your question. And Gerard, thank you very much for your question as well. I appreciate that you participated and asked that through the chat. I encourage you to send messages and send your requests and the questions directly to Raj in LinkedIn. Or Raj, if you have your email, you can put it in the chat as well, so people can contact you after the session and ask you questions, because it's important. You see how quickly a mental strategy could lead to retention of your clients. So this is Raj at rajgavurla.com. So that's a very easy email to remember. So you could see that one step here, just maybe controlling your breathing, will lead to more clients, retention of clients, and a better relationship with your colleagues, your boss, and your family. So it's paramountly important. So Raj, maybe a couple of words, in the end, just to wrap it up.
Yeah, like anything, I'm a business owner, and so there are things that, I go and I look to see, am I interested in investing in? And usually what I do is I first do my research. So I need to learn about them a little more before I'm willing to actually invest with my income or my money financially, make a commitment. And so for you all, again, you can join the negotiation practice community. Vlad gave you a link there, so there's no risk involved to learn more, benefit more, and actually start to implement this and see how it does benefit you. Also, you can go to Buzzsprout and on my podcast, absolutely free. All you need is access to the internet, and just go to Performers and Achievers Daily with Raj Gavurla, and you can again, learn a lot more about this, learn more about me, and see, are we a fit? Am I a fit? And, we have a conversation or a discussion, a talk about, and I can see what your biggest challenges you are facing, and then what you're looking for, and am I a fit? And of course, if you're already there, and some people are, they're already ready to make the decision. They go to rajgavurla.com, fill out the brief form, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. And, hopefully we can talk about something benefiting you with a keynote, a workshop, or individual coaching or team coaching.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you very much, Raj, for your generosity of your time and your wisdom. I appreciate it. It's a fantastic conversation, lots of takeaways. And well, let's stay in touch.